Hey y'all, I am finishing up prepping. I decided to do things a little different this time. Got my Florida water. Thank you, Anna, for putting me onto that because I didn't know anything about Florida water until this year. And it's like, now, baby, if you know, you know. I also have some sandalwood here to help grounding. Ooh, my tea. I keep forgetting my tea is sitting there. Lord. Okay. So, today is Friday. Shout out to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's get started, shall we? I had to redo my altar a little bit because there was so much going on that I couldn't even have my camera a certain way. So I'm like, okay, it's time. Let's fix this stuff, shall we? Oh, this incense is... I use my incense to light my candles. Look at that. That thing is like on it today. Oh, you don't even want to go out. I have got to get some more Palo Santo. Go out, go out, go out. I've gone through so many lighters. Because these days add up, you know what I'm saying? When you're burning candles and getting spiritual every single day, purposefully, right? That me and lighters, going through lighters like crazy. So now I'm like, okay, I got a big old bulk of them. And I try to preserve them by using my incense to light everything, which is actually easier because considering the way that my altar is set up. Ooh. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Just a touch. Ancestors, I invite you to come and fellowship with me now. I thank you for watching over my sons and I as we slept. Father God, in the name of Jesus, I ask that you remain here with me as you always have been. You are in the very fiber and fabric of my home and my heart and every cell of my being. I thank you for your presence in my life and your assignment for myself and my children. I thank you for everyone that's watching and that they get the message that they're supposed to get on this day. Thank you for joining me. And holy angels, archangels, thank you for being on assignment, for protecting us, guiding us, and healing us as you have been assigned to do. All right, we're all on assignment. That's the word that keeps coming out. Assignment, assignment, assignment. Bet. So, happy Friday, y'all. If it's your payday, hey, baby, make sure you tithe. And when I say tithe, I don't mean like give it to a religious institution. Just make sure that you are, tithing as God will call you to do and helping your fellow man. I think that's one of the greatest things that we can do as human beings is help one another. We are literally designed to support each other. My sons and I were watching Passengers last night. They absolutely love Chris Pratt. They think that he's the greatest. I think he's a pretty cool actor. So Passengers, and if you've seen the movie, you know that he makes a really interesting decision that alters the life of someone else out of sheer desperation for a human connection. And it's selfish as ever, right? The decision that he makes in this particular movie, I don't want to give it away for anyone that hasn't seen it, but for those of you that have, you already know that he makes this particular decision against someone else's will. And again, it was out of sheer desperation for human connection, because we are literally programmed and designed to be in fellowship and connection with one another. And so what length would you go to connect with someone? Would you do that? Would you make that decision? Go watch the movie and come back in the comments and tell me what he did was okay. Because there's some stuff I want to say, but again, I can't because I don't know who's seen it, who isn't. And I'm not one of those type of people that'll give it away. I almost feel like I want to say, if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, pause it and then like skip ahead a little bit because there's something I do want to say in regards to it so badly. But as a man having to deal with a woman being upset with him for any length of time, I'm sure would be hell on earth. Especially in that way. Anyway, we got a card here. And of course I am using my keep calm and trust God. We always start off with those. We move on to the Bible, and whatever the message is for today is the message that is for today. Shout out to therapy. I had therapy this morning with my therapist, and we were talking about different things and what my next steps in life are going to be. And I do have some ideas as an entrepreneur. I've been speaking a certain type of life into existence for myself for a couple of decades now. And now that I'm in the position that life is, I'm living that life, I love it. And I also love being of service and helping people. And so now I'm brainstorming with the divine and with God, obviously divine God, it's the same, Jehovah, about how I can be best utilized for the second half of my life. And I've been called to do these videos. We'll see where this goes. But there's also things, other projects that are coming up in my mind, and really excited about seeing where they go. I'm not one of those type of people who, starts something and feels defeated if it doesn't go quite the way that I was anticipating. I'm one of those type of people that will start a project, see where it goes, and, I'm satisfied with whatever the results are. And so with this, I'm just an optimistic girly. But anyway, I do recommend therapy if you are in a place where you just need someone to talk to. It doesn't have to be forever. As a matter of fact, we'll be ending soon. And if and when I'm ready to pick it back up, I will. But as of right now, I think I have come to a place where family therapy is more important to me than individual therapy. So if you have children out there, I don't care how old they are, especially if they're under the age of 18, I would highly recommend that you outsource any type of free services that's available to you and your children, because even though you may think that you have a wonderful relationship with them, you'd be surprised at what their perspective is, especially if you were raised in a time where children were seen and not heard. You may be inadvertently treating your children the same way and not really taking their voice and what they have to say seriously. And maybe you are, but children oftentimes know how to censor themselves around their parent versus their peers. And even though my sons and I have a pretty strong relationship, there's always room for strengthening that bond even more, especially with them getting closer to adulthood. Like, these are really imperative times where I'm as present as ever, making sure that anything that has happened in your childhood has been addressed. Far too often we see people who are recreating their childhood through their adult relationships, whether it be in their job, romantic friendships, whatever, and get to the second half of their life and they're like, oh, it's because I never really reconciled what happened when I was a kid. And that's been my number one goal with family therapy with my children and I, is that we are reconciling these issues, and we are shedding light and opening the communication channels, and we're giving perspectives and giving room and space for each other to express ourselves and to heal if that's what we need to do, and discover maybe the intentions weren't what they thought they were. And I think I mentioned in the last video, my son thought that when I went to work I was abandoning him. As a single mother and a nurse, I had a really wonderful schedule, but children don't understand that, and he didn't. And he created space between us for about 8 years where I just couldn't understand why I couldn't be closer to my child. My youngest child, we like this, we're really, but my oldest and I, there was definitely a palpable distance between us, and I just couldn't understand it. And thanks to therapy, it was actually outside of therapy, he broke down and cried one day and was like, I thought that you didn't want me. that you were leaving me. And and he was so angry and so hurt, and I didn't know. And I also found out that he was being bullied at school, and I didn't know. And I'm one of those type of parents. I jump on stuff right immediately. I'm not one of those to sit and fester. And if there's action I can take right now, I'm on it. I would have been up at that school like, who said what? I'm one of them moms. Because I've always been very much involved with my children's schooling. So to have that revelation was like, dang, how did I miss that? And the therapist was like, well, how do you feel? And I told the therapist I felt so sad, because their whole lives I thought they saw me as I perceived myself, which was a good mom who was in tune with her children, who was open to communicate, who was available to them, who was an advocate for them, a safe place for them, a consistent person in their lives that loves them, that they can turn to, and their biggest cheerleader. And I told her I felt as though I had failed, because somewhere along the way they came to, or I won't say they, but at least the oldest came to the conclusion that he didn't want me to have one other thing to worry about. He saw the weight of all of the things that I was taking care of, and he didn't want to be a part of that stress or that struggle. And that really, that hurt, because he's never been a burden to me. I will admit the first 5 years of their lives was probably the most difficult for me, going from an only child to a single parent. And they're 13 months apart, and I had just graduated from college too, and partaking all of these things on at once, and having no one really to turn to about it. Or at least anyone that genuinely cared, I let her found out. You'll be amazed how many relationships you can have with people. Years do not equate loyalty. Years do not equate love. Years do not equate someone who honestly values you. You can have people playing in your life and in your face for decades, and come to find out that they're just straight frenemies. Or what's the family version of an enemy? Yeah, frenemy. We need to come up with a word for fake fucking family members. Excuse me for cussing. But you have people out here in your family who will just kiki in your face and actually not like you at all. And be completely phony, which is such a colossal waste of time. I'm not that type of person. I've never really needed validation from other people, nor have I ever felt the need to compete with anyone else. And I've always genuinely wanted the best for everyone that I encounter. It doesn't matter who they are. And I naively thought that because I knew these people for so long, that we were all on the same page, only to find out with some deep introspection that is not the case. I would implore you to audit your relationships with people and just see where things could actually be very one-sided, or maybe not even what you think it is at all, because everyone has their own agenda, and that's fine. But does it align with what you desire? I desire genuine, authentic relationships where people show up exactly as they are, confident within themselves, coming from a place of self-love. Because if you love yourself, it's absolutely impossible to hate another, let alone operate in jealousy. And I've purged a lot of those energies out of my life. And so the relationship between my sons and I are the most important to me right now, next to God. I mean, I can't even say I think they are so intertwined, because God dwells in all of us. But the point of that mini tangent is check on your babies and make sure that they're good. There's free programs out here. We actually go through a free program offered through a college. Almost every college has some type of, I think, program where services are free, so that the up and coming baby clinicians will have the opportunity to practice what they're being taught and observed by a professional, in which case you won't have to pay for it. So the whole, I have to pay for this, I pay for that. Yeah, no, it's free. That was their excuse. I actually said that to an ex of mine once, that, we couldn't continue unless we did therapy. And not just couples therapy, but individual therapy. And if you ever want to know if you're dealing with a narcissist, and they say, even though that they know they're toxic as hell and that they're practically abusive, that they like the way that they are, run with the shit on your back and run. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even look back, just run. If a person can recognize that their behavior is toxic, but in the same breath turn around and say that they like how they are, you gotta go. So, first card that comes out, be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord. Psalms 31:24. Back of the card says, trust the past to God's mercy, the present to God's love, and the future to God's providence. That was St. Augustine of Hippo. Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord. Hope it gets you through, honey. Hold on to your hope. Anything that's going on in your life right now, know that I'm sending love out to you and I'm sending strength. You will make it through. When I was in therapy earlier and we were discussing the different things that I'm thinking about doing, the topic of a book came up, and I've oftentimes referred to myself as a vampire because I feel like I've lived so many different versions of myself. If you ever see my social media, you can literally see me transform from person to person. But it's all been very intriguing and very interesting. And so, you know, out of all the different versions of myself, I can say that one thing that remained extremely consistent was my hope for better. I used to say all the time, there's got to be more to life than just this. It has to be. Like, I refuse to believe that God would have us on this planet to just breathe oxygen and pay bills. Like, nah, can't be. And that hope is what has allowed us to travel the world and live a beautiful existence. And so, yeah, remain hopeful. It'll be okay. Okay. It'll be okay. I'm sending hugs out to you right now, for real. I could just give you one of those good old mom hugs. You know, the ones that make your soul feel better, like you just had a good meal. If you need that right now, I'm sending it to you, okay? Be all right. All right, what else is coming out? Oh, and guess what? In my first video, I think I talked about how my son keeps giving me his Jurassic Park mug, and I kept saying, I have a mug with a D on it. Where is it? Ta-da! I just knew they broke it. My sons are kings, or at least at one point, they were kings of breaking stuff and wouldn't say anything. Okay, so I'm like, did y'all break that mug? Is it chipped? Is it broken? Is the handle still on it? And so I have my mug, and I hope I didn't get any. Like, I sprayed some sandalwood spray, supposed to help with grounding when you meditate, and I just hope it didn't go on my teeth. Real quickly, I don't know why this just popped in my head, but I'm gonna just put it out there. If you are wanting to passively lose weight, I highly recommend intermittent fasting. I know why it popped in my head. So, like, I fast every single day, right? Sometimes I fast 16 hours, sometimes 14 if I'm on my cycle, because really technically you shouldn't be fasting during your cycle, but if you do, 14 hours is fine, you know, 14 to 16. But the longest I'll fast is like 40, 42, 43, 44 hours. I'm also a personal trainer and a travel agent. So the personal training aspect of me, I work out 5 days a week, and even on my rest days, I'm still doing something physical. And so I match that with my intermittent fasting. And so the key is that if you can get past 16 hours, you'll hit the fat burning phase. And so I thought of it because with the tea, if you're drinking just plain tea, nothing in it, like this is probably green tea, or it might be black tea. I'm not sure. But if you drink it with nothing in it, it's fine, or water. The point of intermittent fasting is that it gives your body the break it needs to actually process the energy that you're not using, aka fat. And so when you match that with your sleep schedule, you get at least 8 hours in sleep. And then, so like for instance, the last thing I ate was at 8:30 last night, and I'm not going to eat anything or consume anything that's going to spike my blood sugar until like 2:30 this afternoon. So that'll give me, I think, 18 hours in. And that'd be 2 hours of fat burning. And so I'll drink my pre-workout, I'll go hard on my workout, and then I'll have an actual protein shake. And then like 30 minutes or an hour later, I will eat dinner, and that'll be it for the evening. And once you get used to it, I'm not going to lie, the first 2 weeks is probably going to be like, oh, why? But then once you get used to it, your body gets used to it, your stomach actually shrinks. It'll decrease in size because you're not eating as much. And you'll feel tremendously better. Like, you can really reverse a lot of issues. Like, for instance, my oldest son, once he saw how much weight I lost, because like in my last relationship, I think I was stress eating. I'm a Taurus. Food is a comfort. Okay. So I was stress eating. And before I knew it, I had picked up like 25 pounds, 25 pounds. And that was with working out. Okay. So if you're eating more calories than you're burning, you're just going to gain weight. That's just the way it goes. It doesn't matter. And so, I went to the doctor in May, and I knew I had gained weight, but I didn't want to hear, like, I hate scales, you know what I'm saying? The tech yelled out my weight, and I was like, and it was like May 23rd, I want to say. 23 is a very beautiful number for me. So by July, so I started intermittent fasting in May. By, I want to say either June or July, I had dropped the weight. And then I dropped the narcissist. Like November. And dropped down to my ideal weight like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, during my time as a personal trainer, I've also been a power lifter. So at one point, my body fat was like 14%. I was like 123 pounds. And so I'm back to that. You can't really tell because I'm always wearing the smock or whatever, but I'm real fit and fine up under here, just so you know. But I say that to say, whoever's out there wanting to learn more about that, that is a service that I can also help you with. So feel free to reach out to me on my other social medias. I got you. Real quick, real easy. We can do this together. It's not a big deal. Time is fluid. You just step right into that body, baby. When I first started working out way back in 2017, I have a huge mirror in my bathroom that goes from one side of the wall to the other that faces the shower. So I used to step out the shower and go, every time I step out the shower, I'm fit and fine. You know, I'm cut, I'm lean, I'm, whatever. I'm sexy. And then a couple months into starting my workouts, and that's exactly what happened. I stepped out that shower one day and was like, damn, girl. So you got to talk to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, your body is listening for real. And it will do whatever it is that you says it can. I have a lot of stories where I've had to heal myself from some really nasty injuries. And it was because of my ability to talk to myself, to talk to the cells of my body, to talk to that part of my body, to, send love and energy and healing to that part of my body and encouraging it, that it got on board just like that. Like, okay, you know what? You're right. My body, I thank my body every day of how resilient it is, how beautiful it is. We put our bodies through so much and don't even realize every time you eat some crap, you're really like you're doing a number on yourself. I was having a conversation with my sons yesterday. We went out to dinner with one of my favorite people in the world, my great aunt. Oh my God, I love her so much, y'all. She took us out to dinner for my birthday, which was a couple weeks ago. And in her 80s, she's quite busy. So once her schedule allowed, we were able to go out to eat yesterday. And on the way home, we were talking about digestion and how important it is to like truly chew up your food to like damn near liquid. Because otherwise it puts a huge strain on your digestive system, especially your intestine, because you don't have any teeth in your intestine, right? You don't, that's not a thing. So you need to really like savor your food and don't gulp it. Don't take big bites. You know what I'm saying? We're already eating stuff that's suspect in this country. But then if you're not properly, chewing it well, on top of that, you really causing some issues with your with your body's ability to break down food. So second card out says, the Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. Psalms 29:11. The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. When a train goes through a tunnel. Oh, okay. So I was just talking to my therapist about this analogy. And here it is. So I'm excited because I can share this with you guys because this is so true. This is so freaking true. If ever you're going through something and, we're talking about hope, right? There's going to come a time where you're going to have to truly just trust that everything is going to work out for you. And that's one of my greatest affirmations. I have my vision board sitting here. And it says everything is always working out for the boys and I, even this, especially this. Okay. This is one of the affirmations. I have several on this board, but you have to know in those times of uncertainty, if you ever find yourself in them, which oftentimes we do. It's inevitable. At some point in your life, you're going to be going through something and you're like, I don't know, how does this going to work itself out? This analogy is so dope, right? It says, when a train goes through a tunnel and it gets dark, you don't throw away the ticket and jump off. You sit still and trust the engineer. That is so beautiful, y'all, because, okay, so for me, I'm going to just say it. I am what I've called the perpetual faith fall or the free fall, right? Where traditionally, especially in this country, I can only speak for the country I live in, which is the U.S. You're trained from the door, from society, at least in my generation. I'm an 80s baby. Go get a job, pay your bills, live your life, right? Well, becoming an entrepreneur is something totally different. You have to rely upon yourself. You are the job, right? And I've stepped into non-traditional roles over the last 5 years and generated lots of money doing it that way and relying upon my own self as the contracted individual to make that money. And so it's a faith fall in the sense of knowing that these income streams are going to be enough to not only sustain us, but allow us to live the lifestyle that we've accustomed to and have come accustomed to enjoying when I was in more traditional settings, if that makes sense. Nurses tend to make a lot of money in different forms, but they oftentimes are not very happy. And I'm just not willing to sacrifice my happiness anymore. So that card is beautiful in a sense that it reminds you that God has a plan. He heard you. He's here. Don't abandon ship. Don't abandon the plan just because it gets a little dark and you don't know, you can't see. Just relax and enjoy the tunnel ride. That in waking, like in real life for me, that's actually pretty hard. When I'm on the subway, like if I ever ride the L, which has been forever since I've actually rode the L in Chicago, whenever the trains would dip down into the tunnels, it is one of the most eeriest things. Like a part of you is like, when is the next stop coming? So I don't know who needed to hear that, but I'm so glad that card came out because I literally just had this. I just hung up with my therapist and had used that analogy, and that's dead on. Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. Psalms 55:22. I think I get this card like almost every day for real. God gives me the inner strength, the super strength to get through things. And that's by Diane Clapman. All right, we're going to do one more card. I love these cards, man, because like I have small hands. I don't know if you can tell, but I got little bitty hands. And like my tarot decks, them cards are huge. I don't know. I watch other readers and I'm like, how in the world do y'all shuffle them cards? Like, really? And they be like quick with it too. Like, I'm like, dang. Practice makes perfect. I do hope you guys are having a beautiful day. I don't know when I'm going to actually upload this video. I'm going to have to edit it because in the beginning intro, my phone fell. It's like, I'm out. So I have to do some editing now, but it is what it is. So what? But I wanted to check in, because when I sit with my ancestors, sometimes I get the intuitive nudge to record because maybe, just maybe, something that I'm going to say is for you. You're 27 minutes in. Good grief. Goodness me. That's another thing. Be very careful with the words that you're using. You will have to pay for them later. I mean, literally, like, the law of attraction is like the actual law where I think the saying is something like, ignorance of the law does not negate the ramifications of what you've done, breaking it, right? And so law of attraction is the same way. Whatever you are saying, unless you want to own up to that later or now, be quite careful. That was another conversation that we had, is that I've never referred to myself as old, ever. And so oftentimes, I'm getting all kinds of notifications right now, like, what in the world? So anyway, oh, there's our card. Oftentimes when I go out, people are usually quite amazed. A part of me feels like they're just being nice. You know what I'm saying? But my sons will come and tell me, no, Ma, for real, you don't look your age, okay? And I don't feel whatever 43 is supposed to feel like. I still don't know what that's supposed to look like, and I don't know what that's supposed to feel like. But when you see someone who looks like they done been through it, okay? And I do not. The more that we get to know each other and the more that this channel grows, I'll start sharing more of the things that I've been through. I do not look like half the crap I've been through. And I think that's why people tend to think that I am just living this, super privileged life and, I don't have a care in the world. I done been through enough. I done sowed enough seeds and tears and in agony. You would hope that you come out looking better than you started. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through tragedies. I've been through situations, and I'm just not one of those type of people that needs to be in competition with others of how bad I've had it. I just don't care to look like it. We all have challenges. We all have situations that we've gone through. And I just have learned to transmute that into a positive no matter what. And my life reflects that, because the more you dwell on the crap that you've been through, you only giving the devil glory. You're only giving negative energies the glory that you can be broken. And I quite frankly refuse to do that. Maybe that's the stubbornness of the Taurus in me, but I'm going to have a good time regardless of what's going on in my life. I'm going to enjoy this world for what it's meant to be and how it's meant to be enjoyed, that makes God happy. Okay. Whether that's traveling, curling up with my boys and watching movies with them, doing whatever it is, going for a bike ride. I cannot wait to take you guys out to ride bikes with me, either physically or virtually. I'm a nature baby. I'm going to take the most basic thing and find the glory and the goodness in it. And my body, my spirit, my face, all that I am, reflects that. And people will be mad at you for that, because they have not learned how to do that. But that's the problem. They're not focusing on themselves. Focus on you, baby boo. All right. Last card, because I can shuffle these cards all day. And man, it says, the Lord says, I will guide you along the best pathway of your life. I will advise you and watch over you. Psalms 32:8. Keep calm and trust God. We got this card the last time. My goodness. So the ongoing theme of these cards is basically, be strong. The Lord is with you. Cast your cares on me. I will guide you. I will watch over you. I am here with you. And it is so true. It is so true. If you knew that every person that you encountered, even your own children, even yourself, was God, I think the world would just operate completely differently. Because if God was to materialize in front of you right now and hey, I'm here, everybody sit up straight like, okay? And I think that's the core of our issue, is that we don't recognize the God in each other and respect it. We would not be here if it wasn't for some divine purpose. Let me assure you, most women can be pregnant and not even know it, and then go on their cycle. Whatever reason, that life was not meant to be formed. So you have to figure that every child that actually made it to conception, birthed out, made it through toddlerhood, made it through adolescence, made it through teenage years, and any number of years that have been gained after that, you have a design purpose that only you can fulfill on this planet, and it needs to be done, or else you wouldn't be here. So that means that God has given you a gift that only you can deliver. So if we respect that in one another and we actually recognize the God in one another, we would change the world. Absolutely change the world. All right, my favorite. Roulette. And again, for those of you who don't know me, I am D with one E. Don't play with me. People like to play with my name. One day I'll tell you my actual name. Those who are out there that actually know me know my actual name. All right, fine. My name is Des Monica. All right, so it's Des Monica. And at 5 years old, I spaced it because I was like, at 5, I was already annoyed. Like, y'all not going to keep butchering. Y'all playing with me, butchering my name. So I legally changed my name to Des Monica. And when you look up the meaning, it literally comes out to like the unique one, but it also means the advisor. And it's something that I've been doing for a very long time. I have been an advisor to a plethora and multitude of people, and it has been my absolute honor to do so. So when it comes to names, if I get to know you guys, for real, and just know that I'm gonna respect your name, respect my name. But for now, we're gonna D with one E. That's why the name of the channel is D Savage. Okay, that came from my powerlifting years. I'm a savage on them weights, baby. Especially on them deadlifts. I love deadlifting weight. And so I'm happy to announce that now that we have come into better weather, my gym will be open again. I have a personal gym. I'll be featuring all of that soon, and yeah. But I'm excited because we had kind of moved, and I say we because my sons have become gym rats like their mama. And so now all of us are working out on a regular basis together, which is something that I wanted for so long for them. Even when they were little, I used to try to get them to work out, and it was like pulling teeth. But now they're like on board. Both my boys are tall, lean, muscular little machines, and I'm just so proud of them. They're like, I'm having to like beg for my pull-up bar back from my youngest child because he's like just taking it from me. I think because they think I'm the shortest person in the house, they can just run over me. But no, that's not true. My boys love me. They love me so. They love me to life. All right, let's see. For those of you who don't know, this is Bible Roulette, baby. I highly recommend that you do it, but let's see. If you've tuned in, that means that this message is for you and me. I didn't post yesterday, but I got Leviticus. Leviticus 20 through 22. And then I read 19, and I was so heartbroken because it literally says, and I actually had underlined this years ago. I've had this Bible again. This Bible is toe up, y'all. Toe up. And it's not because I don't want a new one, because I just bought new ones for my children. It's just, Indiana Jones didn't redo his journal. Okay. So until this thing literally falls apart, I'm going to hand this down to my great-great-grand-grands, okay? And my son told me yesterday, he goes, is it okay if my kids call you Grandy? And I was like, remember I told you that's what I want to be called? And he's like, oh, yeah. So once I qualify, because I ain't old enough to be a grandma, okay? I need to make the universe very clear. I need to make it clear to the ether. I'm not speaking into existence, but once I qualify to become a grandparent, the grandbabies are going to call me Grandy. Either Grandy or Nadi. Because I know some people, they go by Nana. And I like Na and then D. So Nadi or Grandy. We'll see. Or them little babies might have their own name for me, and I'll be like, I like it. But grandma, nah. We went out to eat yesterday, and the waiter kept reaching over people's faces. Literally, I'm sitting there talking to my aunt, and he's like reaching over her face when she had to like pull back instead of just walking around the table and handing me my stuff. And then he kept calling her grandma. And I was just like, how dare you? And I'm the type of person to call and talk to the manager and be like, dude, don't do that. Because service is so important. Like, the way that we serve each other is so important. Be respectful. And, you know, the lady tried to say that it was a language issue, and this was an Asian restaurant. And honestly, the person who served us spoke better English than she did. He was calling her grandma. And I didn't like that. And I pointed it out to my children. I'm like, you know, toxicity can come wrapped up in the cutest little of intentions, right? It's so subtle, you won't even realize that the person is being just straight up wrong. So I called back and was like, dude, you said that person, do not reach over nobody. Because I even had to pull him to the side, like, you are going to, he did it 3 times in a row. He did it in front of my aunt, and he did it in front of my son, to the point where I was like, that Taurus in me was like, sir, walk around the table and hand me my food. Stop reaching in front of people. And it was nothing on the, it was nothing for him to walk around. There was nothing to restrict him from being able to do so. It wasn't like there was other tables, the chairs. It was wide open space. And for whatever reason, he just felt the need to just write in. I'm like, how do you think? Because I understand that other cultures have a different sense of spacing. I get that. You know what I'm saying? In the U.S., it's like, give me 10 feet. Don't be up on me. I don't know you like that. Other countries, you could be elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, and it's like, okay, we cousins. Who cares? Yeah. Reaching in front of someone's face, like literally almost brushing their damn mouth. No. So, all right, back to the roulette. And we're here. I would love to get to the point where we can like actually read these chapters together. You know what I'm saying? And dissect them together. So I'm speaking that into existence. But right now I'm just going to yell out what I found. And I hope that you guys go and get the message that comes to you. Because I'm going to do that. Deuteronomy 25 through 28. New Living Translation for me. Drop in the comments what version of the Bible that you have. And if you don't have a Bible, you can always look these up online in whatever version you want. Years and years ago, when I got this particular Bible, there was a Christian bookstore around the corner of my house, and I purchased this book. They had all kinds of versions, and it's such a, you know, I hate that the bookstores are starting to struggle, but they had one that was like Ebonics. They had one that was like you know, specifically for teenagers, written in Ebonics, and I've tried to find it. If you guys find it, drop it in the comments. I would love to. But it got to the point where I was looking for it for so long that my oldest son was like, look, I'll take whatever version you want. Just get me a Bible. Okay? And I was like, yes, sir. He looks so cute right now, my oldest, because he cut his hair. And we just watched Forrest Gump. I had put a post on one of my social media platforms. I think it was on Facebook. And I was like, they had the audacity to pick Forrest Gump to watch, because we're always doing movie nights with each other. And Forrest, I'm a crybaby when it comes to movies. If you can make me cry, that's a great movie, first of all. Shout out to all actors and actresses out there. I respect your craft. I think you all are phenomenal. The fact that you can actually elicit an emotion out of someone, you've done. Either you've upset someone, you've made someone cry, you've made someone feel extremely happy. You have literally done that. Anyway, the cut that he ended up getting, my youngest son called him Forrest Gump, and I was like floored, because it makes him look so military now, the cut that he has, and he's so bashful. But I'm not even sure I was going with that. Point is, it's Deuteronomy 25 through 28. Please read that, and yeah, come back in the comments and let me know what you got from that. When I post it, I'll put what I got from it in the description. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I hear the birds chirping and stuff out there. I really hope the sun comes out, because I want to go for a bike ride or a walk. Ground, y'all. Get in nature, ground. Take a step back from all your responsibilities and reconnect with yourself. Breathe, meditate, do something wonderful for yourself. Even if it's, you know, I'm not big on retail therapy, but I can see how it could be like relaxing for some people. But do something free. Do something that, you know, doesn't cost anything at all, and just a really big loving nod to yourself, even if you just stand there and hold yourself. I don't know the last time you've had a hug, but hug yourself if you got to. You know, just one of those good old, you know, I don't know who that's for. But anyway, stay wonderful, stay blessed. Most of all, stay loved and know that there are people out here that really do want the best for you, including me. All right. Bye. Love you.